Yes, I think we will. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we may begin. I'd first of all like to say how grateful we are to the headmaster for allowing us to meet in his reception hall, and to the schoolkeeper for arranging the platform chair, which brings me to the people sitting here beside me. On my left, my wife, Jane Noble, and my name is Edward Noble. Beyond her, Mrs. Crocker. On the far right, Mr. Crocker, acting as our secretary. On his left, Mrs. Garrett, J.P., and on my right, Mr. Roger Garrett, whose expertise in the law will be an enormous asset to any enterprise of this kind. But he appears tonight not with his legal hat on, any more than I am here with my city hat on. We've both taken off those hats for this evening. In fact, all of us here behind this table tonight are wearing the same hat. We represent after. Which seems to me to be entirely self-explanatory. And most of you will know by now that we're acquiring the old empty house at the end of your street to set up a hostel for this very purpose.
Not unless the residents agree or not.
All of you will have every opportunity to speak through the chair when the meeting is open to the floor. Meanwhile, may I ask you, sir, to bear with us while we outline our intentions? I am extremely grateful to you. Now, to do this, I'm going to keep it in the family and call upon my wife, as I so often do in private life, because she is in many ways the prime mover. Jane.
Thank you. When a man or woman is released from prison, having duly served the sentence imposed upon him by the law, the last thing he wants to do is go back. But often, far too often, this is precisely what happens. If these people are allowed to relapse into the wrong company, the very weakness that led them into crime will lead them into crime again. And they'll finish in jail again. A burden to themselves, their families, and us, the taxpayers. To prevent this, we have raised the money to buy number 24, to do a certain amount of renovation, albeit inadequate, and to open it as a hostel, a halfway house where these ex-offenders can sojourn while they find their feet. I may say we're absolutely delighted to have found the house which seems suitable on so many counts. It stands in its own garden.
That's not much protection if you...
With respect, sir, please.
It's large and in good condition, and above all, it's in the center of an established and stable community.
Sure.
The ex-offenders will, in this difficult process of rehabilitation, greatly profit from the goodwill and neighborliness of the people who make up this long-established neighborhood.
People often mistake offenders aftercare for school fees. On the contrary, in my view, mollycoddling ain't no good, no harm. As a justice of the peace, I've no time for sentiment. I see these poor creatures from the bench. Often I sentence them to long punishments. But make no mistake, our aim is not to provide a crutch, but to get them to stand on their own 2 feet. And I believe one cannot exaggerate the value of a friendly smile and a helping hand.
Thank you. Well, the ladies have made our statement of intent. I'm sure you have one or two questions to ask, so please don't be backward in coming forward. You, madam.
I'm relieved your wife knows this is a stable community. But in that case, I'd like to hear why she wants to destroy it by setting a prison camp down at the foot of my garden.
Oh, really?
Make no mistake, if this goes through, the district will be overrun by every kind of pervert, every species of criminal element.
Sir, with respect.
You've had your say. It's our turn. Things were bad enough when the house was a youth hostel, with all manner of scruffs and tearaways, using language night and day, bringing down the property values. But the residents are all together on this, and I can tell you, you better try elsewhere, because we are not going to stand for it.
Mr. Chairman, if I may be permitted to address the floor, through the chair, and for one brief moment, taking off my aftercare hat and putting on my legal hat, I should point out to the last speaker, with the greatest possible respect, that in fact there is no legal impediment to our proceeding with the hostel. As far as planning permission is concerned, no change of use is required. So, strictly legally, the residents may beat the big drum for all they're worth, but they will find, in the moment of truth, that they have no teeth.
Then what's this meeting for?
Sir, I'd have thought it would be obvious to you as an Englishman that this is our cherished principle of freedom of speech. A democratic assembly for both sides to air their views.
But if we've got no teeth, what's the point?
Well, to answer that, I shall have to take my legal hat off and cross over to the other side. Is that in order, Mr. Chairman?
Please.
Well, I'm sorry. Integration depends upon the goodwill of each and every citizen. The firm support of Mr. and Mrs. Charlie Farnsbarnes. Otherwise, our cause is lost.
What I should like to know is
Yes,
why these
madam,
people...
you are...
Mrs. West. I was only thinking, why has it got to be here? Do any of you people live in the district?
Well, not actually in the street.
But in the district?
In the borough, yes.
Or by the common, I'll bet.
Well, we're all neighbours, just as you're all
Then why
neighbours.
not put the prisoners in your neighbourhood? Plenty of
Ex-offenders.
big houses up there by the common. Plenty of room for the prisoners. You
Ex-offenders.
got improved schools up there? Any homes for unmarried mothers? We have. And a discotheque in the church.
We tried in our own district, but there was no house of the right size for sale at the right time.
And at the right price? In other words, the property up there costs too much.
I'm afraid that's true.
So that one of the advantages of living in a pricey district is that aftercare centres are always somewhere else.
We're certainly not proud that the scheme hasn't been feasible in our own neighbourhood.
We should be proud that you live in a district of decent ratepayers. There's plenty of poorer places for the criminal element, where they feel more down amongst their own kind.
But that's exactly why
So,
we're
with the greatest possible respect, I hope I'm wrong in thinking that you're more concerned about your property values than helping your fellow men.
I should jolly well think I am.
Our houses may not cost as much as yours, but they're all we've got. In many cases, they're our life savings.
Why not put them in that office block in the High Street?